want the fans to have their seat. We want to score goals. We want to get them, momentum on our side. And then on the flip side is when we don't have the ball, we got to be dogs.
Hey, and we're live. Welcome everyone to the Afterburn Soccer Show on this amazing Tuesday evening, 21st of April. Whether it's rainy where you are or sunny where you are, we hope you can pull up and chat with us for a bit as we talk about FC Dallas and North Texas Soccer Club. Of course, I'm Nathan. You can follow me at Afterburn Soccer or on the website at afterburn.soccer over on Substack. With me, my good friends, fellow soccer nerds. We got Jose at El Chico Carmona.
What's up, everybody?
And Colin Coover at Mr. Coov. And we'll see.
Good evening,
Chris,
guys.
We'll see if Chris joins us here in a bit. I'll throw up the Musa little repeat there just for now as a placeholder. But we hope you can join us if you're in a place to catch us and send in your comments and questions after a really interesting weekend, a disappointing weekend perhaps. So it just all kind of depends on your perspective. And that's what we're going to talk about is FC Dallas drew at home against the Los Angeles Galaxy, a 2-2 result. A lot to be disappointed about, but also some really positive things for FC Dallas. I mean, I think we'll talk about Pedar Musa in just a moment. But then North Texas also went up away to Portland Timbers 2, and came from behind to grab a point on the road. A beautiful goal by Nys that leveled things, and then a confident penalty kick shootout win. So they get 2 points on the road, which is always a good thing in the world of soccer to get those road points for teams. So we're going to talk about both results. We'll get into match predictions a little bit later. So let's just jump right into it. A result starting with FC Dallas at home in Frisco, welcoming Los Angeles Galaxy, a team that wasn't at full strength, but sort of is getting back there. And, we predicted, I think, across the board that it was going to be a win. We knew it was not going to be easy. There's no easy wins, but Sporting Kansas City is putting is testing the record books as how bad they've been. But FC Dallas goes ahead 2-0. Both Pedar Musa goals. The dude is just phenomenal. He is the Golden Boot leader right now. And then Los Angeles Galaxy give him a bit of space, and they find two banger goals to equalize. I'd love to hear what our reactions are to this game. I know it was a feisty one in the second half, but unfortunately, FC Dallas was not able to get the full 3 points. And there's controversy. We're going to talk about that in a moment. Let's just start first. Overall match reflections. Jose, we'll start with you.
I'll keep it simple. That should have been a win. Everyone knows that should have been a win. It's only not a win because the refs were atrocious. One of my biggest complaints as an FCD fan is, unlike other teams, FC Dallas simply doesn't get the love at home that other teams appear to get at home, and especially when they're playing popular teams, it's very heartbreaking to yes, you can complain about the team shutting off and allowing 2 goals, which we've seen before. It is a flaw. but this doesn't feel like the team left 2 points, or lost 2 points and ended up with a draw. It feels like those points were stolen, and it's just hard. All I got to say is seeing Musa get the brace should have been a hat trick, uh, and being the MLS leading scorer. I'm hoping that will eventually start winning the MLS refs over, because for all of its MLS's flaws, they do like their stars, and Musa is starting to shine just as bright as some of the brightest stars in this league. So I'll leave it at that. I thought it was another excellent performance from the team overall. Same flaws as we've seen before. There's work to be done. This team can still improve. That's my biggest positive spin is whatever you think of this team can still improve. It still hasn't fielded its best lineup, and it's played a very tough schedule. I'm looking forward to the next match.
All right. I hear you. Yeah. When will FC Dallas get some respect? Colin?
Oh, 100% to back up what Jose just said. I mean, it should have been easily 3-2. Could make the argument that it should have been 4-2.
Agreed.
And we could talk about the referees here in a minute, like we talked about. But Quill seems to be a fan of the podcast, because it seems like anytime I make suggestions on the midfield, he follows it. This time rolling out the Kaike and Kappas dual eights and Valiente underneath, and it showed improvement, and it showed kind of like I was talking about last week, and wasn't able to get it completely right in my wording, but we needed someone who can progress the ball forward and make the connection. And Kappas last week just simply wasn't it. This week he looked a lot better, and Kaik being able to push up the field and being that pressure with Valiente for the press. I mean, it just broke down the Galaxy super easy. A veteran like Yoshida, who played in the Premier League with Southampton, where he's playing a low block and being pressed all the time, you would think he'd be used to it, and he was still giving the ball up cheaply. And someone of his stature, if he's able to do that, you're going to be able to make any MLS center back, an average center back for sure, give it the ball. And that's what they did multiple times. They were able to cause easy turnovers in the midfield and able to cause multiple easy takes and take them down the field. 2 goals conceded was a deflection shot from Sanabria. Another one was, in my opinion, I blame Dietzen a little bit for it, but Dietzen and Shaq not communicating on who to track Peck when he cut in. Most likely could have been Shaq, but Dietzen was the man marking it before they cut in. And he finds Paintsill for an easy little finesse shot, which Paintsill, that's his bread and butter, man. Driving down the wing, cutting in, finesse back post. Peck's thing is shooting long range or being an assist man. So, as soon as he was driving in, he probably wasn't shooting on his left foot. That's why they stood off him, gave him too much space, but doing so gives him the space to create. So it's one of those where the defense just made one very simple mistake, and one was just a deflected shot with like a .08 XG, which I'm a stats guy, but also stats on everything, but still that not that likely of a shot going in. We'll be lucky if that happens maybe once or twice again this season. So it's one of those things where it very easily could have been a 4-0 night. But yeah, the referees 100% took that away from us. But like Jose said, the team's getting better. This isn't a 100%, everyone's firing on all cylinders, everyone's in form. It's one of those things. I think we missed Nolan Norris that night. I mean, Shaq seemed to be doing well defensively, but Dietzen just looks lost at wingback. If that means we have to put Shaq at wingback, like at left wingback or whatever, that's fine with me. He obviously can play there. And then putting Nolan at left center back, I'd feel a lot more confident defensively. But yeah, it's one of those things. We should have had another extra 2 points that night, and it feels like it's a draw that feels like a loss in my opinion. Like, just the way we drew, it feels awful, and it's one of those where we should have easily had the 3 points in the bag.
And really pretty much dictating, second half play. The team came out. I mean, the effort was out there for sure. Really the goals were out there. I mean, this is one I was really disappointed just because they had the draw against St. Louis at home, and dropping home points, especially what they're doing, which was a problem last year, is just not. It kind of lowers your ceiling when the playoff positioning comes. And yeah, you're going to pick up some points on the road, and this team was good last year on the road, and I think they're going to get some points, they're going to steal some points, some wins, and maybe they'll make up for some of this. But really, that was just frustrating that they came out, and granted, they had the goal, they had at least one of those goals, but you can't leave it up to the refs. You've got to figure out a way to get that third goal and get those points at home. And so I was disappointed by this result. I mean, the effort was there, and Musa is just in amazing form. But yeah, it's a hard one. It's a hard one because it seemed like FC Dallas has been flirting with that contender status, like saying we have the guys. Sure, we're still figuring them out. There's some guys not healthy. All that stuff. But then, another home draw, and you're like, well, are you really contenders? I mean, what's it going to take to get over that hump? And soccer's going to have some bad luck. You're going to drop some points at home. Every team does. Look at LAFC. I mean, they've been so good, and then San Jose took them behind the shed. It was, so you're going to drop some points at home, but you got to win against a team like this. You've just got to take care of business. So I was disappointed on that end and disappointed about what it might mean, but long season to go. But yeah, the big story from this, VAR does FC Dallas. That's a deep reference.
Absolutely true.
What the hell was that? And actually, Colin,
it's frustrating to see that VAR, we have VAR, and VAR still can't get a call right.
Yeah, and well, all right, well, that's not working the way I wanted it to work. But anyway, I've got it rolling in the background, but I did not want to do that. But I got to learn this software. But what do we make of this? What do we make of this? Oh, that's not working for me.
I mean, it's just despicable at the end of the day, right? We've had VAR for multiple years now. You should be able to work all your kinks out. And I mean, they're in Arlington. They're like 20 minutes away, so there's no reason for them not to go to VAR, right? It's one of those things.
Close.
It's one of those things where you look at it, and you could try and argue and say that Logan interfered with play, but the man just stands there, right? Logan is the only one offside when the ball's played, right there. So it's one of those where he's not interfering with play. He's not interfering with play. The defenders don't even track Musa or him. They don't go to him or anything like that. That doesn't affect the goalkeeper's vision on the ball. So there's no possible way VAR is looking at this call and they're saying that, Musa's offside or anything. Because, yes, it might be at a little bit of an angle, but look at the blade of grass. Perks of having the football field. The defender's back foot on that blade of grass where the color's different is behind Musa. So there is no way that Musa's offside in that. So that should be goal number 3. Didn't even go to the monitor. Didn't even do anything. We sat there in stadium for a minute and a half, 2 minutes, being like, what are they checking? Enough time for me to go on my phone, look at it, and see he's clearly onside. What's taking him so long? Didn't even go to the monitor. So that's mistake number 1. And that's the big one, right? That's the one we can sit there and be like, 100%, it's a goal. There's no other way. No other person with eyes is going to miss that call, right? Now, Kaike's goal in the second half that was called back, I will 100% say, yes, it could be interference with Uragide. You could say that he touched it or it touched him as it was going in. Fine, whatever. I'm not really upset about that one. What I'm upset about with that call is the AR waited 5-10 seconds in the middle of our celebration to then raise his flag and be like, oh, by the way, it's offside, or I think it's offside. You are taught as an assistant from the time you start at 12-year-old soccer as an assistant referee, keep your flag down. And then if you have VAR, you're definitely told to keep your flag down. And the VAR will catch it unless you're 100% sure. Him waiting that long is him not being 100% sure. And with MLS being the stupid, it has to be clear and obvious. But it's clear and obvious. that's still
really close.
I mean, you're looking at this replay. It's clear and obvious to me that Musa is not on. That is not. He's not offside.
really close.
It's clear and obvious to me that even LA Galaxy fans are saying online that he was not offside.
That is
So it's one of
really
those to me
close.
where, what the hell are we doing? How do we fix it? And how you fix it is either get rid of it, or you become the Premier League style where you're drawing the lines and you're taking time and you're getting every call right to the letter of the law, or doing the best that you can. And is refereeing going to be perfect? No. But all I'm asking for, man, is clarity. Like, how in the world do you look at that replay that's been replaying for the last minute or two and not see Musa is clearly onside? All you gotta do is zoom in on your phone, take a little screenshot, zoom in, and just look at the defender's back foot, which is a playable part of the ball. So it has to be a playable part of the person's foot per law. So since it's his foot and not his hand, that is where the line is as the last man. Musa is clearly, and I say clearly as if, I'm able to measure it on the grass, but it's very obvious that he is not behind,
really close.
or that he is not behind the defender. He is in front of the defender. So yeah, 100%. I'm not usually one to be like, refs screwed us, refs did this, refs did that. But man, the refs 100% screwed us Saturday and robbed us of 3 points. And there's nothing you can say or do to change my mind. And I cannot wait for instant replay to come out and Andrew Reeby be like, it's really tight, it has to be clear and obvious, and all this other BS. It's clear and obvious, man. It's clear as day. It's a goal.
Close.
And we're going to be behind 2 points now, and a win, which counts for the tiebreaker at the end of the season. Which could be a difference between, third place or eighth place in MLS. It could be as tight as that. So, yeah, not happy at all after Saturday's refereeing performance.
And that is really close.
Not happy at all. Yeah, I just don't. I don't know how you don't at least go to the VAR. At least take a look at it. At least say, hey, we're gonna double check. Maybe Weeby will share some background information. Maybe they really did judge Farrington to be interfering, but I don't see it. I just don't see it.
All I'm saying is if Moose is on the other team, or if he's wearing pink, that's a goal all day long. If he's on the other team playing for. If he's on the other team playing for Miami, if he's playing for LAFC, LA Galaxy, hell, even for Austin, or a team that's somewhat popular on social media or that's popular for the league, that's a goal. They go into the monitor and they're overturning it every day of the week. It's 100%. You look at it. FC Dallas has constantly gotten screwed the last 3 years, ever since VAR has been implemented as well. There's been multiple times where we get one goal taken off or one goal overturned or one goal not even looked at. And it's a consistent happening to us, like the lower popular teams like an FC Dallas or Colorado or a San Jose up until recently. But even Seattle, San Jose still getting screwed over by it. It happens to Chicago last year multiple times where they went to the play-in game last year because of it multiple times. So it's one of those where these games matter. It's going to be the difference between play-in or away playoff game or guaranteed home games. This could very well cost us later on in the season. And it's just, it is unforgivable. And it is asinine that we have this level of technology in VAR and we're still missing these easy calls all day long.
And just to add to this, what's really frustrating is, I always get frustrated watching power rankings, but answer me this. When's the last time you saw a home team lose a 2-goal lead, end up with a draw against a team that's 5 places below them in the standings? And afterwards, after this draw, they go up on the power rankings, in the official MLS power rankings, ESPN power rankings. That's because everybody's acknowledging that this should have been a win. They're not saying it. They're not saying, hey, they got screwed. Then why is a team that dropped points at home to a team far below them in the standings going up the power rankings? Because they're saying, hey, yeah, they should have won that. That win was stolen. That's rankings. They would have gone up 1 on the rankings had they won. Any other team blows a lead at home, settles for a draw against an inferior opponent, they're plummeting in the rankings. I'm sorry.
Mm-hmm.
So like that's what's angering me right now is everybody basically acknowledging, hey, you guys got screwed, but nobody's gonna come to your aid. You're just gonna have to eat it, and sadly that's what we got to do. We got to eat it and just hope that this team uh, fixes, some minor issues it has and starts simply just making MLS respect them. Furthermore, another thing, I hear this a lot from just social media and stuff like that, or other teams. Honestly, I check out some of their podcasts, and everyone's always saying how FC Dallas opponent it was not at full strength. This team was not at full strength. FC Dallas hasn't been at full strength all season. But nobody's going to say that. They're going to say, Elliot, Galaxy were not at full strength. LA were not at full strength. Man, it was an even match. We were missing players. They're missing players. It's a game. Let the players play, man.
Yeah. Frustrating. Just so frustrating when, I know for a long time, part of the VAR push was just get calls right, but also provide some transparency. What are the refs talking about? What do they see? All that kind of stuff. And, we need that. Fans need that. At least we can understand. We have some information. But, Musa, the guy is in such incredible form, Golden Boot leader. His play, and I'm hoping the team, can rally behind him and really do the rest of the bargain, get some clean sheets going in. We got to use him while he's with us because, every goal he scores, I'm just like, oh. And then you see a team like Chelsea hasn't scored in how many matches? 6 matches. And, you can't tell me there's going to be some teams coming this summer that say, we need a guy who is in form right now, who's going to bang in some goals, and it's going to help us turn around our club fortunes or whatever. And Musa's right there. It's going to be a reasonable price, and he's just incredible. So it makes me all nervous with all these results and stuff, but the dude is so much fun to watch play right now, and we got to enjoy it. We got to enjoy every minute, and hopefully they're in such a state that he's in Golden Boot lead, and he wants to see out potentially winning MVP, being an MVP contention, Golden Boot contention come in the year. So we'll just have to wait and see how all that shakes out.
I'd like to take it a step further and say we have a special player, and I'd like to see the Hunts basically lock him down, offer him the money, make him an offer that he can't refuse, pay him what he got to pay to keep him. And if Musa signs and for against all odds stays with FC Dallas, having a star player draws other players. It's a lot easier to sell your team when they know they have a player like that locked in. You see it, other teams recruit because they want to play with the players that are on that team. Musa can be that kind of player. It would be worth it to pay him every penny they can and keep him on this team. Well, this man could become a legend for this team. He could. If he was here, if you could lock him down for a couple more years, this man could rewrite the record books for this team. And it would be great to have a player like that you can go, when you're recruiting other players, say, hey, come play with Musa. He's he's the top scorer in the league. You're going to have a star player next to you. And I'm telling you, the recruiting possibilities are just endless for a team like FC Dallas. That's how you raise your level as an entire club. I don't think it's going to happen, but that's my fantasy right now is I'd love to see them not sell Musa, lock him down, and use him as a springboard to elevate this entire organization as one of the top organizations in the league. Love to see it. Don't think I'll see it, but there you go. That's my prayer to the soccer gods.
Well, Colin's down on duty tonight, Luke, there at Horse God. And in fact, there's a whole backstory to that. We'll run on Tuesday night. corporate complaints.
Oh, man.
That's awesome.
Yeah, but anyway, yeah. Well, hey, look, let's shift over. Let's talk about North Texas. There we go. A road draw and penalty kick shootout win for North Texas at Timbers 2. It was a really interesting, kind of a nice, fun roller coaster game to watch. As really, North Texas looked great. They looked great in the opening good stretch of the game. But Timbers 2, to their credit, really clawed back into things. I think there's just a lot of good threads to pull from this that are really positive. Key is Edu Nys. I mean, this kid, very exciting to watch. I did find his clip here, and
Salazar.
his equalizing goal,
James.
off the
Now Nys.
outside of his left or his right foot. I'm sorry. And
Oh my goodness!
what an unsavable shot! Just
Edu Nys
quality there.
with
and
an
his energy.
amazing
Something that John
strike.
Gall pointed out after the match was he immediately went to get the ball because he's like, I want another, and that's what you want. That's what you want as a player, to see in a young player, to see that fire, to see that leadership. So a lot to a lot of positives from this one. What do you guys think about the overall performance? Also, shout out, I think, to Eric Demora, who had another, had really one of his better games with 2 PK saves in this one. But yeah, I love you guys' thoughts.
Salazar.
Colin, what did you think about good, solid road
James.
points for North Texas?
Now Nys.
It's like I said last
Outside
week.
of the boot! Oh my goodness!
Like they play that like they did last week, they're gonna lose. And I said that thing on the podcast, and I was like, I'm not one to predict losses,
an
but man,
amazing strike.
this will be one if we don't play like we play
Salazar.
well. And man, Nys, my
James.
boy, the man I've been hyping up all year.
Now
he's
Nys.
continuing to deliver.
Outside of the
an amazing
boot!
trip out
Oh
that shot.
my
I mean, that's just
goodness!
beautiful. So it's one of those for me where
Edu Nys
North Texas
with
showed up.
an
They showed up
amazing
to
strike.
win the game, and this
Salazar.
team, the one thing that they lack is consistency.
James.
It seems they'll
Now
come out
Nys.
on fire,
Outside of
and
the
they'll lose it.
boot!
And they'll
Oh
come out on
my
fire and they lose
goodness!
it. And sometimes it happens in the same 90-minute game.
Edu Nys
And that's going to happen, right?
with
the
an
younger squad, the
amazing
development
strike.
squad. You're going to have some games where they're on fire and they
Salazar.
keep it up, and they have 3, 4, 5 games
James.
straight of a big on fire
Now
renegade.
Nys. Outside of the
Excuse me,
boot!
and that's how,
Oh
that's how
my
North
goodness!
Texas has won the championships. Is right places, right time, right players, right time, and they ride that roller coaster. But this team, they have the talent. Like this game right here showed me that they have the talent. Now it's time to go execute it. And John Gall is kind of saying that every week, like, hey, these players did well. Yes, it's a roller coaster, but we know what to do. And it seems like they're finding out, they're making the puzzle, right? And they have all the outside edges done. They have their team that they're considering their starting 11, kind of consistent pieces you see there all the time. And now they're plugging and playing. They're finding the little 4 little hole pipe pieces that go out in the middle of the puzzle, and they're starting to fill out the middle of it with the edges, and they're starting to put it all together. And you're starting to see that with how well and how consistent and how better they're playing as a team. It's not as much. Excuse me. It's not as much as individual performances carrying the team like it was beginning of the season. It's now a full team, and that comes with time as well. So it's one of those where I'm feeling very confident now compared to the beginning of the season where it was a little shaky a couple weeks ago. But yeah, I'm not happy over the moon with it, but I'm pleased with it, and I'll gladly take 2 points on the road every day of the week.
Yeah. Jose, thoughts?
I was very happy with the result. I thought that Portland would be a tough opponent and a drawish opponent that they would try to keep it low. I want to say that our starting goalkeeper is what has raised my confidence, because honestly, goalkeeper is really my biggest concern on the squad, and I mean, had an outstanding match. Our starting keeper had outstanding match. He had that PK save where you see, I don't know if you guys saw it, but he pointed to the right before the PK was taken and dove to the left, and the other opponent and the other player kicked it to the left. So he pretty much out just used psychology to win that. I mean, it was something to see, and I was like, I really enjoyed that. It's raised my confidence level in this team. I also want to say, what a great time to be a fan, to have not one but two Golden Boot leaders
I
in
know.
the squad with
Wow.
Nys. With Nys, by the way, being chased by the entire Crown Legacy FC squad. They have two guys that have 6 goals, and they have a third guy that's like sitting at 5, which is ridiculous. Uh, but yeah, it's pretty sweet to be able to tune in, even if you don't know anything about North Texas. It's nice to say, hey, all you gotta do is watch Nys, man, because that guy will put on a show. And same thing, if you're new to FC Dallas, watch Musa. And it's nice to be able to simply know that you have such players on your squads. And let's face it, a beautiful strike. Uh, Players like that can make something out of nothing. Those are the players that take you, to silverware. So I still think currently 4th place North Texas. Yeah, I think I'm very happy with. You can see where this team is only going to get better as time progresses, and I think that there'll be one of the actual threats to win MLS Next Pro this year. I'm still sticking to that. Even if they don't finish with the best record in the Western Conference, I think they have the talent and they can do it. So I'm pretty excited. I'm very happy with the result. You'll take 2 points on the road every day, any day of the week. You prefer 3, but 2 is a nice little. You can't complain about 2.
Yeah, makes up a little bit for the home draw, But I love their confidence in the penalty kick shootout, which not an easy thing to do for a young team. And so there's some real positive signs. Again, I think Colin, you're right. We're going to see some ups and downs with this team. Gall's pointed out some things. Like one of his mantras right now is be comfortable with the uncomfortable. Which I think he's trying to let his team know that. This is a young team. They're going to be put in some really difficult situations. Other teams are going to try to beat up on them because they're also a small team. They're on the smaller size compared to some of their opponents. So they're just going to have to learn to kind of embrace being pushed to the edge in some of those scenarios. But the talent's there. The quality's there. There's and Natty James. And also fun shout out to Nicholas Simmons, who made his debut with FC Dallas. I think that's probably a smart thing since, Logan Farrington, God, we love the guy. But he's looks world class one game, and the next game he's can't, keep hold of the ball. He can't, his first touch is off. It's just the strangest thing. So maybe he needs a Nicholas Simmons that says, I'm hungry for some minutes, if that depth there pushing him. So we haven't seen Simmons lately with North Texas and kind of have missed him, but good stuff to see that pipeline. All right, look, let's start to wind down the show here, but let's do some match predictions. We got a doubleheader week for FC Dallas, but we'll start with North Texas. They're going to travel up to Minnesota United 2. It's going to be another tough one, an away match against a really good MLS Next Pro team. But, I haven't done too much scouting yet in Minnesota United 2, except I know they're always a good, solid team, and it's always a tough place to play. That pretty much goes for almost every team, I guess. But this is one, just with the confidence of this team, I'm liking the thought of them coming away with 2 points again. I think it's going to be a feisty match. It's going to be a growing match for them. Like a similar thing, 2-2. And then just the way this team is feeling confidence, growing in confidence, getting the extra point. But I'd love to see an outright away win. I just don't know what the tipping point is going to be for that to sort of all click for this team. But Jose, thought predictions: North Texas at Minnesota United.
I'll make it easy. Minnesota United is one of the teams that North Texas has owned. Good year, bad year, it doesn't matter. currently, as far as I recall, they're on a 3-match win streak against those guys, and I think it's longer than that. 2 of those at Minnesota United. So my prediction is going to be 2-1 North Texas. They just had Minnesota United's number uh, all the way from the first season. There's just a team that, for whatever reason, North Texas always seems to get a result against, and that's my prediction. Keep it rolling. They've got something on Minnesota United. It won't be pretty, but at the end of the day, it'll be a 2-1 win for North Texas.
All right, Colin.
I'm gonna go more than Nathan's route. I think yes. Well, acknowledging that we do own Minnesota United, they do have I believe it's a new coach this season, which you can say that with many next pro teams. They usually have really good rollover. They have a bunch of younger, pacier players. Minnesota, for the longest time, they're trying to implement obviously what the first team does, which is that 5-back, the 5-4-1, which turns into like almost like a 3-4-3. Depending on how they attack. And it's one of those things where the second team's never been able to replicate that, right? They haven't had the wing backs that are pacey enough and have the attacking quality enough. This year, it's looking like they do. I think it's going to be a tougher game. But I still think North Texas gets it done. It's either going to be a really, high-intensity, 3-3 draw type thing where North Texas might just go for it and they get caught on the counter once or twice, which is Minnesota's game. But like Jose said, they have their number. They haven't lost the last 3 games, 2 of them being in Minnesota. I'm gonna go with Jose and say it's a win, but I think he said 3-1. I'm gonna go 3-1 as well. It's one of those where I think what's gonna happen is North Texas is gonna.
2-1.
Okay, I'm gonna go 3-1, and the reason I say that is I think it's gonna be a 2-1 game or whatever, and Minnesota's gonna try and go for it because they're at home, or at least try to go for the draw to try and get an extra point in the shootout, and then. If Nys is still on the field and everything, because he's playing 90, he should be playing 90 minutes like he consistently does. I think he gets a nice little assist or a game winner there to top off the game. So that's where I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go 3-1 there.
All right, good stuff. Well, a doubleheader for FC Dallas. First, of course, tomorrow night, hot dog dollar night. Everybody get your good hot dog, good reason to go out to Frisco. They welcome Minnesota, so a Minnesota United team who's just above them in standings. So it's going to be a really interesting tactical matchup. I think we're going to learn a lot about FC Dallas coming off of that home draw. And then, of course, they'll travel out to the Pacific Northwest to play at Seattle, who also above them in the standings, and who, are good as usually Seattle is. They're just a good team, a good, solid team that will punish you if you are not careful. But both teams, I think there are points to be had for FC Dallas. I mean, I just think obviously you've got to get the win at home. I think you've got to come out for Saturday and say, guys, we're better than this. We've got to figure out, how to get that full performance. But, Minnesota United, they have a new coach, but they're good. I mean, this is a solid team. This is going to be a tough one. These next 2 matches are really tough. So, I'm curious to hear what you guys think. Jose, we'll start with you. What do you think?
Okay, I think these teams are pretty evenly matched, and FC Dallas being at home should give them the edge. I'm going to go ahead and predict a 2-1 victory, and I'm going to predict that Minnesota gets a goal called back as MLS does a mea culpa. Sorry for having screwed you out of 3 points in the previous match. We don't care about Minnesota United as much as the Galaxy, so we're going to screw them this time and try to cheer you guys up. So 2-1, but there will be some controversy, and that's my prediction.
All right.
As for the Seattle game, I'm going to predict a draw in that match. A match that I think is going to be a draw, and I would be concerned about Seattle stealing it late because, let's face it, Seattle tends to have FC Dallas's number, and I am concerned about that match. We could be up 3-0, and I would be concerned about that match in Seattle.
All right. So you got to win at home, draw on the road, Colin.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with the 2-0 win here at home. Minnesota plays really defensive away from home, and it's one of those things where you don't really see them go for it unless they have a really good opportunity to. So it's one of those where if we can get 2 goals early like we did last game, it might force them to have to try and come for it, but I doubt they do. and they don't really attack in a way that hurts our defense, where it's a quick counter or passing through the middle. They usually just try to stretch teams out and then overlap on the wings. With us playing the 3-back with the 2 wing backs, it helps us counter that very well. So unless they change the whole build up and play, which very well may happen, I don't see them really bothering the goal. James Rodriguez, if he plays, there's a whole thing saying he was hurt, but then he played in the Open Cup, so who knows what's going on with James Rodriguez. If he plays, I'm a little bit more worried about them scoring. Never count that man out at any point in his career. But I'm still going to go 2-0 win. And then Seattle, man, soccer brain is telling me a loss, but FC Dallas heart is telling me a draw. This is a game where you haven't got a result in Seattle in forever. And I mean, look at last year. We were up 1-0 for a while, and we lost. So it's one of those things, like Jose said, if we're even up 3-0, I'm not confident. And knowing how we play against Seattle too in the history, I'm gonna go with a loss, man. Like a 2-1 or a 2-0 loss. I'm not. It's not that I'm not confident in the team. I think we can get it done and play scrappy on the road. It's just Seattle's like one of those. You look at the schedule and you're like, all right, guaranteed draw or a loss, and we just move on. Even with how well Moose is playing, I think he can brag. I think he can bag 1 or 2, but unless Seattle gets some injuries or rotates, I don't see a way we beat that team on the road, and draw is going to be a really good feat. So soccer brain's telling me a loss.
Yeah, I'm kind of with you there, Kyle. I think at home we take care of it. It's going to be a 3-1, maybe a 2-0. I am curious to see how he tweaks the lineup to try to rest some guys. And maybe one little thread is maybe Nicholas Simmons gets a start. I mean, I'm not saying Nicholas Simmons was just phenomenal off the bench, but maybe you say, hey, let's rest Logan because I think Logan could match up pretty well against Seattle as far as kind of like he did in DC, running, pushing against the back line, so maybe you want a fully rested Logan or something, or at least partially rested. But so I could see things. So I think it's going to be a win. I think it's going to be Minnesota's going to put up a fight, but it should be a 2-0 result. Then on the road, I think it's going to be similar to the LAFC game, a 1-0 loss. That Dallas plays really well, stout, but just that one moment of brilliance undoes them, and it just is unfortunate, but there's still some heads held high after the performance. So all right, we're gonna leave it there. Jose, Colin, thanks.
Wait.
Go ahead. Yep.
Just a little side note, a little hope for you guys against Seattle is, unlike Seattle's team past, this Seattle team is struggling to score. Only 10 goals in 7 matches, and they have the top defense in the league with only 3 goals allowed.
Okay.
So don't be shocked if this is 0-0 going, down the stretch. So that's the only hope you're going to get on this is Seattle is not the formidable Seattle of the past. They're having to play defense and scrape out very close matches.
All right. Good thread there for us to watch. All right, thanks. Well, appreciate it, Jose, Colin, and of course everybody follow us at afterburn.soccer or on X or Facebook, even wherever you want to find us and follow along, and we'll be sharing some more reflections and of course covering tomorrow night's match. All right, good night, everyone.
Good night. See you guys.
All right. All right, appreciate the flexibility, guys.